Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, Super for 100, the brown skin human, and of course, yeah, brown skin human coming at you with another video series review. This is the intro to my various Saturday morning prime time American-based cartoons, both children, preteen, teenage, and adult. Quote unquote adult. This intro will be for two parts. One, a short narration, and the second part, a full length long webcam where I explain more about the cartoon I'm quote unquote reviewing. So, with that being said, let's get this video started right now. This is also a rant. Some of these cartoons will be rants, so yeah, let's get started right now.
Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to signify to me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now.
Hey everybody, it's time for the next part of my Total Drama Island review series. This is the first part. This is my review of the first series, the first Total Drama series, which is Total Drama Island, and this is the best one. This one will be the longest of the Total Drama Island review series, because this is the most exciting one. This is Total Drama Island at its peak. This is Total Drama Island at its peak. At its peak. All of the other seasons after this were terrible. Terrible. There were good things about those seasons, but they were terrible. With the last two, All Stars and Revenge of the Island, being atrocious, and Redunculous Race will not be included in this review series. So, first let me give my history on the Total Drama Island franchise. I first got into Total Drama Island in 2008 here in America when it premiered. It premiered 1 year earlier in 2007. I saw it in 2008, and I was instantly a fan. I followed the series up until midway through Action, which after finishing Action, which that season review is going to be after this season review, I'm kind of happy I didn't watch. I'm kind of happy I stopped watching the series because around Action is when the show jumped the shark, and it got worse and worse with each series. I stopped watching during Action because as awesome as Total Drama Island was at the time, Total Drama Island premiered during the dark ages of Cartoon Network. That terrible bland 2005 through 8 and 11, especially the 2008 through 11 period, which was even worse. This was the period where I never stopped watching Cartoon Network, but I tuned them out due to several terrible and poor creative decisions. Number one, getting rid of the action block Toonami, which was a staple of Cartoon Network. Number two, getting rid of anime and pushing them on the death slot of Saturday night on Adult Swim. Number three, getting rid of Naruto, Cartoon Network's cash cow at the time. Cash cow at the time, which really ruins your reputation with a lot of fans, even though I often defended Cartoon Network from those fans who constantly think Cartoon Network is anime action network. But I'll talk. But that's for another video. Then the biggest sin was adding live action. In this era, the programming was good. You had a lot of variety. Something I missed from this era when I compare the Cartoon Network to today. I very much, believe it or not, prefer Cartoon Network of today. Cartoon Network today chooses to be terrible on purpose. They could be good. I prefer Cartoon Network of today, but one thing I miss from the past, even this past bland era, is the variety of shows. Now everything is comedy and adventure, and sitcom, comedy, adventure, sitcom, and fantasy. No action, adventure, science fiction, Japanese animation, comic book superhero like the old days. None of that. We don't get any of that. Even the action and superhero cartoons we do get, they're comedic and goofy parody versions of themselves. So that's one thing I miss. But so that's why I didn't get to finish watching Action. Anyway, took the first season of Total Drama Island. I was just remembering up for the past years. For the past couple of years, I was remembering scenes from this awesome show, and looking them up and laughing online, and decided to rewatch the entire series. And boy, the perfect series to watch when you're in a foul mood. One of the greatest shows ever. This show, in my opinion, this animated series, which parodies shows like Survivor, Fear Factor, Big Brother, and I think that's what it's called, Brother of something. All those reality shows from the 2000s that I remember being popular in the 2000s. I always thought I would never care for reality television series. That was Asshole Island. Characters stuck on an island or stuck in some place being total dicks and assholes to each other. The biggest asshole is usually the one who wins. People get abused and screwed here. However, something I hated and never cared for in reality TV. I never cared for reality TV unless it's sports based, like WWE's Tough Enough, the UFC's Ultimate Fighter, and boxing and kickboxing's The Contender, and the classic Spike TV series Pros vs. Joes, where pro athletes go against amateur athletes, retired pro athletes go against amateur athletes. So these were the only reality shows, and there was another one they had called World Deadliest Warrior that I remember enjoying at the time. But these were the only reality shows I actually enjoyed. Enjoyed Total Drama Island. Jennifer, I keep forgetting her last name, but Tom McGillis and Jennifer, the two main creators, and the rest of the animation team of Fresh TV. Fresh TV managed to with this series right here, with this with this quote unquote series right here, these people were able to take what I consider the lame cliche of the 2000s and turn it into box office gold and even exceed. There was more drama and comedy here because it was a cartoon and an animation. In this cartoon, because it was a cartoon, there was more drama and comedy here than there was on reality, and turning the box office gold. When I was watching this back in 2008, I had no idea this show would become that popular because people are revisionist. People have revisionist history now, or people back then must have been younger when Cartoon Network was airing. But I remember during this era of Cartoon Network, people hated this Cartoon Network, especially the older people like me who were around in the 90s. I've been with Cartoon Network since 94. And I remember people hating Cartoon Network, so I was surprised to see how popular this show was. There were fan fictions, fan arts, cosplays of this cartoon right here. But anyway, it was awesome. It was awesome. The whole plot centers around several campers. Owen, Gwen, Duncan, Ezekiel, Harold, Tyler, Jeff, Bridget, Lindsay, Beth, Cody, Eva, Sadie, and Katie. I already said Ezekiel. DJ, Courtney, Heather, Lashana, and Trent, Noah, Izzy, and quote unquote Izzy and Justin. Those are all the campers. These campers are tricked into signing up for a Survivor-like reality show that takes place at a rundown camp called Camp Wakanaka, which Chris McLean, the host and the producers, lied to them by making it look like a paradise resort for the summer. But it turned out that they're all participating in a survival competition in a dirty summer camp where they would spend 8 weeks. And it would be split up into two teams. Don't remember what the two teams were called. I don't remember what the quote unquote what the two teams were called. The two teams were called, but they were split up into two teams, with girls to one cabin, boys to another cabin. They would all complete a series of challenges. The losing team of these challenges would meet Chris by the fire, and Chris has marshmallows. Whoever doesn't receive a marshmallow is voted off the island. Is sent off the island to the dock of shame, a boat taking him to a mysterious place, never to be seen from again. The characters decide who leaves by voting them off in the confessional, a bathroom stall area where the characters talk about their experiences in the island and in the challenges and with other people. This is where they all vote. This is where they all vote to see who leaves. Another thing I like is the very awesome I Want to Be Famous theme song, one of the coolest and most awesome intros of all time. I sometimes, when I watch this show, replay this intro multiple times. And this show has it all. Awesome, hilarious animation. The character designs, animations are hilarious and make the show even more fun and engaging to watch. I like the animal characters too. The animal characters, the bear, the Sasquatch, the sharks, and the various other animals are very much a part of the show and show as the humans and are very human-like and are all very human-like compared to real animals. and the comedy, humor, acting, actors, actresses, everything. My favorite characters are Owen, Gwen, Ezekiel, Harold, Duncan, Jeff, Bridget, Lindsay, Beth, Tyler, Cody, and Trent.
Having a hard time accepting Bridget's been kicked off, huh?
Yeah.
Cody and Trent, with Courtney being my least favorite character. I also like and enjoy the co-host Chris McLean, Chief Hatchet the cook, and who else? Who else? The animals, the bear, the Sasquatch,
They started up their guys' alliance. Duncan's no fool.
the Sasquatch, the sharks, and of course the various other animals who appear throughout the series as visual sight gags throughout the series, and sometimes partake in various challenges.
Look, man, voting Bridget off was just a strategic move. If the Guy Alliance stands strong, we can win this. So are you in? I don't know, man. Going on without Bridge is like... Oh, is that bacon?
So,
Did I miss breakfast?
yeah, my favorite episodes are episodes 1 through 10, where we're introduced to all the campers I just mentioned. We're introduced to all the campers. Heather takes over as the main antagonist, the mean girl, immediately forming an alliance, a girl alliance with Lindsay, the dumb blonde, and Beth, the socially awkwardly nerdy girl, in order to protect herself from elimination throughout the summer, and uses them in various challenges, and uses them also to do other things for her. Then you got Halo, the other socially not awkward nerd, Napoleon Dynamite style character. Then you got Ezekiel, the naive homeschool farm redneck boy who is naive of the outside world. His mouth gets him in trouble later in the second episode. Then Bridget, the cool surfer girl and environmentalist. Then Owen. Then you got Owen, the big fat guy who's always farting, pooping, and doing all sorts of gross things, but is a nice guy, has a great personality, always sees the best in people, and always tries to see the best in situations. Then you got Gwen, the cool goth girl, one of the only sane characters on the island. Tyler, the cool, athletic but clumsy jock. Cody, the simp, who's really a nice guy, and in my opinion deserves better, but it's just a total simp. And then Trent, the rock star guitarist and artist and super nice guy who gets along with everyone. Then you got Duncan, the complete opposite, the rebellious punk rocker, bad boy who's done time in juvie.
Would I hear you wrong? Okay.
Yes, episodes 1 through 10, where they compete in a cliff jumping contest,
That I know.
dodgeball, staying awake, hunter versus deer challenges between the campers in the forest, and cooking for Chris McLean. The last episode I mentioned is more noticeable for the end, where this episode, Duncan, Miz Cabin are fed up with Harold leaving his dirty underwear around, so they teach him a lesson by taking away all of his clothes until Harold admits, who denies the underwear is his throughout the episode, even though his name is on him. This episode was torture porn for Harold, but it furthered the rivalry between Harold and Duncan, one of the coolest things about the series, and one of the only good things about the sequel series action. And it led to something real big in episode 12 or 13. It was called Basic Training, something like that, where Chef and Chief Hasek takes over. He takes over and makes the challenge a boot camp challenge where whoever survives his harsh boot camp wins the challenge. I think Gwen wins. I think Gwen, quote unquote, wins. Harold fears the least. And in this episode, it looks like Harold is going to be voted off. But instead of Harold being voted off, Courtney is shockingly voted off. In the final flashbacks reveal that Harold did something he did. In the confessionals, when it was his time to go, he rigged the votes to Heather, to quote unquote Heather, to quote unquote Courtney, to quote unquote Courtney leaving, and thus Courtney is eliminated and escorted by Chef and Chris onto the dock of shame to a special place, never to be seen again until episode 22. Episode 22, loved Harold voting off Courtney. He did everyone a favor by voting off Courtney because Courtney single-handedly killed the next two seasons. Every other season she was in. This right here was the quote-unquote only good. This was the only season where she was tolerable, but she was annoying here. I'm going to talk more about Courtney when I get to action. She's tolerable here, but in the next season she is intolerable. And she's intolerable. Then you got
I wiped out so bad I popped my collarbone.
Then you got episode 16. Then you got episode 17, the hide and go seek. You got episode 17, the hide and go seek. Oh man, then you got the next episode 14, I think, extreme torture, where Harold is eliminated. The challenge really wasn't all that interesting, but one thing that was interesting was Heather's top got ripped off, and Harold got to see her boobies. Anyway, the episode really wasn't all that interesting, but the end was my favorite part, where Harold got eliminated and had the most badass elimination ever, where he took his elimination well and went out like a total G, where he gave everyone high fives, and said he was okay with being eliminated early because today he has become a man. He saw boobies, he loved, and quote unquote everything. He quote unquote everything, and then Bridget, Gwen, and all of them say you saw boobies, you loved, and he reveals he wrote the poems, which was also a subplot in this episode. He wrote the poems to the anonymous poems to Lashana, who Bridget and Gwen were fighting and thinking that they were written by their boyfriends or love interests Trent and Jeff, but it was Harold all along. Then the next episode, hide and go seek, where Chris sets up a hide and go seek competition where all the campers hide, and Chef Hatchet has to find each of them and squirt them with a water gun. He finds everyone except for Lashana, who hides under the water, who hides under the water. Love Chef Hatchet's survival skills in this challenge, and Bridget has literally the stinkiest and worst elimination ever, where she gets sprayed by a family of skunks and thus causes everyone to vote her off the island. Then leaving Jeff severely depressed up until the next episode. Then episode 18, one of the most iconic. The episode where Lindsay stands up to Heather. This is the big bike riding episode. Lindsay builds Heather's bike, which Heather uses to win the bike riding challenge. Whoever crosses first gets immunity. Whoever is the last to cross the line is eliminated. Even though Lindsay is the second to cross the line, since Owen, Duncan, Lashana, Izzy, and Gwen and them never apparently crossed the line. Lindsay is the last one, thus she is eliminated Heather saves her. Heather, who just got immunity, refuses to share her immunity with Lindsay, and then kicks Lindsay to the curb like she did Beth earlier. Who also stood up to her and left the alliance and got eliminated in the next episode. Here, Lindsay gets eliminated, and finally Lindsay goes off, gives a long-filled, profane rant on Heather, where she calls Heather a bitch, what appears to be a bitch, and also flips her off. This was heavily censored in English in the Cartoon Network version, but in the Canadian version was left intact. And Lindsay, next to Harold, has the most badass elimination ever, where she accepts her fate, says bye to everyone, bidding them farewell, and says she'll see each of them in the season finale, and then tells Heather, good luck in the finals, Heather. Heather, I hope you get everything your karma owes you. Everything's foreshadowing what's going to happen in the season finale, in the first season finale. And, yeah. Then we got episode 22, Layla Losers, something like that, the Island of Losers, where the people who lost go to a paradise island and mansion where everyone is happy, everyone except Courtney is happy, accepting their fate as reality star has-beens. Jeff and Bridget are reunited. Trent is happy. Katie and Sadie, who got split up earlier, are happy. Everyone is happy except for Courtney, who feels she shouldn't be there, and throughout is looking for Harold, who she figured out that Harold caused her elimination, and she rips a pole and Harold is hiding and actually almost gets away until he is interviewed, and Courtney finds him and beats him with a pole, tying him to it, but he gets free, but the pole is still around him, and him and Courtney later fight and battle and fall into the water. Courtney tries to reveal, Courtney reveals throughout the scene that she is better and feels she should have been in the series, and she should have been where everyone constantly reminds her that no one liked her, and that she was just been voted off in another episode because nobody liked her, and she constantly reminds people that she is a CIT, which is annoying and funny throughout the series. It's annoying, but it's funny how everyone reacts to it throughout the series. This episode was great, except for the ending where Chris comes out of nowhere with a sudden death elimination of a Lashana, where he tricks everyone into saying Lashana's name multiple times, and Lashana is eliminated in BS fashion. Lashana is not my top favorite character, but she deserved that BS elimination. So with Lashana gone and Duncan leaves in the next two episodes, is the final three episodes 25 and 26 are Owen, Gwen, and Heather in Triple Dare, with the most nastiest episode of the series. The characters all compete in a series of dares set up by the campers because the producers ran out of challenges to torture them with. So they each have to perform the dares. Whoever performs the most dares gets a couple of bottles, which are called freebies, and gets immunity. Owen, who does a series of dangerous dares, including eating dog food, and the worst of all, giving a bear a purple and getting mauled, gets a bunch of the freebies, and Gwen convinces Owen to team up with him to eliminate Heather. Owen teams up with her after Gwen agrees to give him a box of donuts and split the prize money with them. And then they all team up to gang up on Heather and torture Heather throughout the dare. Before Gwen is given some form of immunity, she has to endure several dares, such as chewing her toenail. Ezekiel's there chewing a toenail and swallowing it. Then Jeb's there, the worst dare ever. She has to drink fruit punch from the toilet. She gets hugely sick. So they torture Heather to death, and finally, when it lands on Lindsay, Heather thinks she has a break. She thinks Lindsay, being a dumb blonde, can't think of anything. Lindsay thinks of the worst dare ever, and that's Heather having her head shaved by Chef Hatchet. cowardly kicks the razor out of his hand, and the razor falls on her head and shaves her head anyway. Because she accepted her, she's out. And that is the end of Heather. Heather screwed and fucked over a bunch of characters this season. So this was just karma. I would never wish what happened to Heather on anyone in these final 2 episodes. But she deserved all of this for what she did. And finally, the one thing she did deserve, to be eliminated from the contest after every bad thing she did this season. Every bad thing she did. It's even more fun watching the reactions of everyone else and for seeing how excited everyone was for her final, for her elimination, and elimination, and then episode 20. Then you have the season finale, episode 26. Episode 26, where Gwen and Owen compete in a race, assisted by the eliminated campers for the $100,000. Heather, who was eliminated and has a new terrible wig this season, but at this episode, tries to do everything in her power to prevent Gwen from winning. Including giving Gwen a laxative-induced cupcake that Gwen gives to Owen that kicks in during the race, causing Owen to do a number on the confessional. And later, Heather's the victim of her own prank, where during a stunt going wrong, where Izzy tries to help Owen to victory by blowing the smell of brownies his way. Owen in a frenzy knocks over Gwen and wins the contest. Before that, Heather, who they knocked her wig off, says, "Can't you idiots do anything right?" LaShawna, fed up with Heather's insults, gives her a cruel and unusual punishment and locks her in the confessional. And she becomes the victim of her own prank on Owen. And later in the episode, when they're at the campfire where Chris is about to announce the winner, Eva announces to Heather, "You really stink." And then finally, Owen's announced the winner, and Jeff says, "Owen, you know what time it is?" And Owen looks at Chris, and Owen, Chris, and Chris, Owen, Duncan, and Jeff dunk Chris into the lake, and then Chef Hatchet says, "How do you like that, pretty boy? How do you like that, pretty boy? I've been wanting to do that all summer." And then Jeff says, "Oh, Chef." And then Owen says, "You're next, bro." And they chase him around. The dock, and the episode ends there. And that's how the series ends. But it was also a special episode, episode 27, where there's a huge scavenger hunt for the $1 million, where everyone competes one last time to get $1 million. But the $1 million is eaten by a shark. That's setting up the next season, Total Drama Action. So get ready for that. But this was the best season ever. I love watching it. Never get bored watching it. The most exciting season ever. It was more fun than watching this season. Watching other people react to this season as they watch with you, with the Straw Hat Janafee, I think that's his name, and Sensei something are the best Total Drama Action reactors. But I enjoy all the reactors on YouTube, but these two are the best. So with that being said, this is the first series, Total Drama. Get ready for my rant on the other ones. Hey everyone, it's now time for my review of Total Drama Action. Review and rant on Total Drama Action. This season was a huge step down from season 1. It started off okay, but it quickly derailed. The first derailment was the breakup of the Trent and Gwen relationship for the popular Gwen and Duncan relationship, which I've never cared for. I've never cared for. That was the first derailment. Number 2 was Gwen's elimination at the hands of Justin, who for the first half of the series took over as main antagonist of this series. That was the second derailment. This series really hit rock bottom when Courtney, via lawsuit, she's the first person to successfully sue the producers of Total Drama and gained entry into season 2 after being denied entry in the season finale of 27. These are the things I didn't like about this season. Now here's what I did like. Number 1, the cast who didn't qualify for season 2, watching on the cast who didn't qualify and were eliminated early, as in Jeff and Bridget's case, who were eliminated early. They're watching on watching the entire action inside a television studio hosted by Jeff and now Bridget, the character, the antagonistic television host, Blaney character, makes her debut this season. That was another thing I liked about this season. That was probably the second thing I liked. And I like how the cast members from the previous season didn't have to suffer as much as the cast members from this season did. The number 3 thing I liked was the cool Total Drama action gimmick thing. This was the Hollywood movie theme. This took place at a Hollywood studio, instead of a dirty camp. The whole thing took place inside a dressing room, the confessionals took place inside a dressing room. Number 4, Heather as an anti-hero. She's a much better character here in this season than she was in the first season. An anti-hero in this quote-unquote season. 5, the Harold and Duncan rivalry relationship, and with Harold and Duncan both lasting longer in this season, and Duncan making it all the way to the end, making it in his ending actually winning, which that's the next thing I like. Then number 6, Beth, who was an underdog character who was eliminated earlier, her character returning this season, lasting a long time, and her ending winning the damn thing. Lindsay also did pretty good. Here, but I think she had a BS elimination here too. There was also a very cool reference to Nirvana's and Jennifer and Tommy Goes' previous show, 16. There was a reference to that show where the remaining participants in action did their own. What do we do now? There's 6 of us, and the 16 theme played on, but featuring those characters. I love that clever Easter egg to their previous show, 16. And the humor and comedy mostly provided by Owen. These were the only things I liked. I don't have a favorite best moment in episode. The series was just a chore to watch in comparison to the first one. It started off good, but was derailed quickly, and that was mainly because of this thing, Courtney. This series was a chore to watch. Her elimination was another good thing. It was one of the most satisfying eliminations ever. Here's why I can't stand the Courtney character. Courtney, Heather in the first season as the main antagonist, she was useful. Courtney is useless. Heather, with all those advantages, managed to make it to the final 3, and probably, had it not been for the sudden death triple dare challenge and Lindsay's dare, probably could have beaten Owen and Gwen and won the prize money that season. So you at least gotta respect Heather for that, for bodying the entire season 1 cast. Then you got Gwen. Then you got Courtney in this series. She had her lawyers gaining her entry into the contest. She had her lawyers bending the rules for her, and with all of these unfair advantages, she still couldn't win and got beaten and upset by Beth. And got voted off by her own boyfriend Duncan, which was awesome. But it goes to show you how much Courtney sucks. Harold did everyone a favor by voting her off in the first series. She should have never been able to come back to Total Drama. action. Then she eliminated immediately. She eliminated, ruining the series by eliminating the GOAT, Owen.
The Gilded Crit? What on earth is this?
Yeah, this was total drama. This was total drama. Actually, he got Justin, another least favorite character of mine. He was awesome in the first series where he didn't say anything. Just stood around looking pretty. Here, he tries to use his he uses his pretty boy tactics to avoid hard work and get ahead in the competition and eliminate people like Gwen. He predated the character of Alejandro. He's much better after this, Justin, but yeah, he was annoying in the first half, but man, Courtney completely ruined it the most, man. So this was total drama action. Kind of glad I stopped watching total drama during this season because this series got worse and worse. Now it's time for Total Drama World Tour. Total Drama World Tour. This is my rant and review of Total Drama World Tour. Short rant and review, and this season right here was atrocious. It was slightly better than the previous one, action, but just like the action, it was quickly derailed midway towards the end. I'm gonna talk about what I liked about this season. Number one, the music. This season featured various sing-along songs with the Scarab's mating song, the escaping the crocodiles, the similar crocodile escaping song, and Blanley's Blaine-orific rap song later when the Blanley character joined the competition were the best songs, followed by number 2, Blanley briefly joining the competition, making it much more exciting. She was, of the new characters, she was the best of the new characters. Number 4, Pharaoh Zeke, which this is both of my things I liked and disliked about Total Drama World Tour. I like the Pharaoh monster version of Ezekiel because it makes him much more of a dramatic and tragic character, and kind of makes him one of the best developed characters in the franchise and made the series. It kind of made his deranged monster form, kind of made the series exciting to watch. Made the series, which was a chore to watch, exciting to watch, especially as it moved along. Number 5, bringing back characters like Noah, Tyler, Lindsay, and Cody, and Harold, and Duncan, who split early this season, but returned later. Next is the plot. This had a world tour theme. This was called World Tour. This featured the characters flying all over the world in a plane, and competing in various challenges on the plane and in different parts of the world. 7. This season was also darker than the last, featuring more life-threatening situations. One guy, an intern, being eaten alive by a bunch of scarabs and no one reacting to it. I mentioned the Pharaoh Zeke and another thing, Heather as an anti-hero because she's replaced by the newest antagonist in Alejandro, and Heather's a saint compared to Alejandro. Okay, these are all the things I liked about the series. Now for everything I didn't like. Number 1, challenges weren't as exciting as the previous series Island. This was also a problem in action. I forgot to mention that in action. Number 2, Ezekiel being eliminated early, but it did lead to something. It did lead to the cool Pharaoh arc later. Ezekiel being eliminated early, which derailed the series. Harold being eliminated early, which was all staged by Alejandro. Owen's elimination, and Gwen's, the goats of total drama. It wasn't even that exciting after these guys were eliminated. After these people were eliminated. What else? Noah's elimination, which a lot of people complain about. Noah's elimination. Noah's elimination. Noah's elimination, and oh yes, the addition of the most annoying character in total drama, Sierra. Her stalker, her Chris and Cody stalker act and crazy obsessed fan act. That got old after. That got old quickly. This became annoying. Just think of roles reversed. We had a crazy stalker man guy running around stalking women, running around stalking the women of total drama. That would be wrong, but because it's female, that makes it quote unquote okay. That makes it quote unquote okay. This was the most annoying character ever. Then they try to one thing I can't stand is when they know a character is lame, they try to force you to like this character. They try to shove the character down your throat and force you to like the character by stepping on other characters. So that's why I can't stand Sierra. Then how just dumb the show got. At the end, Alejandro gets burnt real bad, is burnt and damaged real bad, and is rebuilt into a robot like Darth Vader. Stupid. It spends the entirety of the next series like that, and doesn't go back to normal until the final series, All Stars, the final series I'm going to talk about in this series. So yeah, this was Total Drama World Tour. Show sucked, and by this point, the series had really jumped the shark. I'm glad I stopped watching by this point. Those good points I mentioned are only good points, followed by one last good point: the opening theme song, which shows all the campers and participants forming a pyramid with each other on top of a plane, kicking their leg in the air and all singing. And it shows Heather and Courtney, who are competing against each other, fierce rivals, screaming and yelling at each other. So yeah, also some comedy in the Blaine Horrific song. One of the many times Heather and Gwen get along when Blaney has her Blaine Horrific rap song. When first you have Courtney has a cool line, "This is so against the rules, this Christy we're a bunch of fools," and Owen says Blaine Horrific, and then Heather says "Mama make me sick," and then Owen says she's Blaine Horrific, and then Owen says she's Blaine Horrific, and Duncan replies more like horrific, and then Cody says who are you, and then Blaney goes on a rant saying she did all these things, and then Heather and then Blaney says it's a scientific fact that I'm still famous. Then she mixes some chemicals, and then Gwen and Courtney have fire extinguishers putting out her fire, saying turns out she's not so famous. Turns out she's not so famous. That part was also, oh yeah, and Heather growing her hair back and having a regular hairdo, have regular ponytail this season. These are only good things. Good things about this quote unquote season. So with that being said, yeah, Total Drama World Tour sucked. And the next one was even worse, and that's Revenge of the Island. The last two seasons. I'm not even going to play episodes in the background. The last two seasons, and I'm going to combine them into one video. That's Revenge of the Island and All Stars, and both of them sucked. You have Revenge of the Island, which has a completely new cast, and the new cast wasn't bad. It's just hard to get used to this new cast, and we're seeing how badass and awesome the old cast was. And had you given the old cast better endings than you did in the previous series, it would have been better. It would have made a better transition to the new cast here. Here. I can understand why they had a new cast. Having a series with the same cast members every season will eventually get old. So you had to have new characters. You needed to have new characters. Anyway, but this season sucked. The only good episode was the first one. my favorite characters got eliminated way too early. The first one, my favorite characters, I mean, don't actually. Two of my favorite characters got eliminated way too early. The first was B, the silent guy, the silent Afro-American who's big guy who's good with technology and doesn't speak, he doesn't need to. Then you got Stacy, the weakest member who gets eliminated first and way early and doesn't appear again to the season finale, who has a bad habit of lying, saying her parents, her ancestors made several things we use today, and before they did something else. And she says in a hilarious Dutch, Canadian, European woman, British woman voice mixed with a Valley girl, which makes it even more funny. Then when it's over, Chris gives them toxic marshmallows, which this was also stupid. Toxic marshmallows, which burns off her hair. Then the way he sends him away is even worse. Sends him away to be a catapult. That's the reason these seasons suck. Starting with World Tour, Chris becomes even more sadistic, evil, and does things that are just completely unrealistic, and that he would be in prison for. For. These shows are live on TV, or quote unquote live on TV, and that's another good thing about this season. He gets arrested at the end of this season for turning the entire camp walking off into a hazardous waste dump, where the cops say you're busted. Clint McLean in the awesome Canadian accent says, "For what? For what?" They tell him his crime, and then he's sentenced to jail for the first part of the series, but is bailed out by Chef Ash in the next series. Only other thing was a brief cameo from the original cast, where he blows their boat up, thus preventing them from participating, and introduces the new cast. Then Ezekiel made a cameo in one episode, but other than that, season was just atrocious. This show was just a chore to watch, and it was super boring. Only Sensei and various people's reactions are enough to make me sit through this. And then the character who won, Lightning, he wasn't a bad character, but I didn't care for him winning. And Cameron, who was a discount, Cody and Steve Urkel, made it to the end only to fall to Lightning. You had a very cool, tough, athletic Eva girl, but she got eliminated early. Then you have the worst antagonist ever in Scott, who I didn't know this was an antagonist because he's way too comical to be an antagonist. He's way too comical, probably the worst antagonist, even worse than Courtney. Is way too comical to be an antagonist. I didn't know he was until the dramatic Scar, who does videos on Total Drama, everything wrong or right with this season. He mentioned that he was a antagonist. Then you got you got mutated sharks. The whole thing is just stupid. This really jumped the shark. By this point was really jumped the shark, and the show just lost its novelty and fun. Then you got the next series, Total Drama All Stars, which brought back some of the cast members from the previous Revenge of the Island series, and mixed them with cast members from the first 3 seasons, like Gwen, Heather, Duncan, and I think Lindsay returns here too. This was terrible. This season was terrible. Not even having, and Courtney also returns here. So yes, Courtney, the franchise killer, she returns here too. And just like the previous series, she killed this franchise too. There was only one funny joke where Chris put them on heroic teams, and she was on the team called Heroic Hamsters, and she made a joke saying, "How are hamsters heroic? That part made me laugh. That part was funny. But other than that, then Duncan had one of the worst character derailments ever. Gwen breaks up with him. Not that I care about that. Then later, he tries to prove, instead of trying to win the money, stay in the contest and win the money, he tries to prove he hates being on a heroic team. He tries to prove he's a villain by burning down Chris's cottage. To which he says, "Oh, it's good. I'm going back to jail." But Chris reminds him that he's 18 now and that he's headed for juvie. He's not going back. I mean, Duncan's excited to be going back to juvie, but Christopher, you're 18 now, big man's jail. So he goes to Rio's jail. There's a deleted scene with him in prison, with a big muscular guy who smiles at the prospect of having a brand new cellmate, and he comically urges his lawyer to come quickly. That was one of Duncan's final scenes. Him and Courtney's other final scenes being stuck in an intern balloon and being stranded in the air because none of the interns got them down, but Fresh TV revealed that their balloons popped and they fell into the water. Then Heather and Alejandro's final scene, after everything they've been through, especially Heather, their final scenes is being in the water and being chased by Fang, the mutated shark. Knowing Fresh TV and how popular Heather and Alejandro, I'm pretty sure they survived. They probably survived that encounter. But after all that, that's the finale of these characters. Like I said, man, yeah, atrocious. The only good things about this was Ezekiel. He makes several appearances here. In Pharaoh form, and finally, when he's knocked into a forest with a bunch of other mutant animals, the mutant animals prepare to catch him, but he instead gives them a cake, and the mutants hoist him high on his head, and Ezekiel finally gets the happy ending he deserves. There's also a very cool wanted Ezekiel poster showing that his parents are still looking for him. So that's Total Drama. This has been my review of the Total Drama franchise. I want to give my short thoughts on I hope the new sequel, I hope the remake, Total Drama's Island is coming back. I hope the remake, I'm pretty sure it won't be the same cast because they would have to be like 30 now. It won't be the same cast, but I hope the same cast as in the old cast members are involved in some way and gives closure to several of those characters that deserve it. And I hope the new cast members, unlike this one, are at least exciting in comparison to the previous series. And I'm not even going to do Redunculous Race. I may save that for a video of its own. The spinoff, and Total Drama will be in a separate series of its own. So with that being said, this was my review of the entire Total Drama Island franchise. Review and rant. If you want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all, and one by one they all become a number as they fall. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all become a black box on the floor. It's the name to say that you're looking for. Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. It's more. Hey, yeah! Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I made.